Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel for another build. Now today it's going to be quite a simple build, but I just wanted to decorate around my house in Eternity Isle. Now obviously we get our house in the main valley and our one in Eternity Isle, which you can kind of customize how you want it to look. I did stick to the same skin, which is like the flowery summer house skin, just because I feel like it fits in the jungle really well, and I wanted to create kind of just this cozy little vineyard area for my house. I just love how the grape stems look that we get for the DLC, so I wanted to create kind of just this cozy area that has a nice little seating area and a little mini vineyard in this kind of small corner of the jungle. So let's get started. So to start off with, in here I kind of figured out where I wanted the house itself to go, and then I started mapping in some pathway. I used the leaf strewn pathway, the unbordered one, just to kind of map in where I wanted to go. I like how this pathway looks in this biome. I think it looks very natural and it kind of just fit the vibe I was going for. So I started mapping that in and kind of tailing it off to the different entrances and exits. There is multiple in here, like we have one that takes you over to the bridge and one that takes you to the upper section of this kind of jungle area. So I dotted those in, and I also placed in all the items I knew I was going to use before I went in and rearranged where I wanted everything to go. In this section of the biome there are two rock spots, so I kind of used the pebbly rock pathways we get to kind of lead to these two different rock spots, so I can always access them and be able to reach them at all times before I went in and kind of set up the little table area I wanted to have and figured out where I wanted to put my little market stall and all my lighting. Now I started going in with trees and foliage, and at first I was going to use the jungle trees, but I felt like they just didn't really fit too much with the vibe I was going for, and I knew I'd be using the jungle trees a lot in the rest of the jungle biome when I decorate it. So I actually went for some more natural trees. So I went for the Ancient's Landing trees. I also went for some oaks and some of the red maple trees, I think that's what they're called, and I dotted those around to kind of surround this area and make it quite covered over. And then I started going in with foliage. Now I knew I was going to use a lot of foliage in this build as I wanted it to be a very kind of cozy and rustic area, so I went in and used both foliage from the main game and also the DLC and kind of dotted these around the different areas I created. Now with these being unbordered pathways, I wanted to make sure I was kind of lining the pathways with different foliage. I like to kind of cover the edges of them so they look like these very naturally kind of spawned pathways, and it kind of just makes sure that everything flows really nicely and everything looks really lined beautifully. And I used a different variety of colours of the foliage. I used some of the kind of bright greens as well as some of the darker greens to kind of change it all up, and I also added in a lot of meadow grass in this build. I actually went for meadow grass instead of beach grass. I felt like the beach grass was just a bit too bright and I wanted it to be kind of a muted, more rustic look, so I went for meadow grass in a lot of the open spaces and kind of rearranged the rest of the furniture I had left. Now, as you can see, I went in and I dug in the different holes and planted the grapes into the build. I did this off camera just because it's not very exciting to look at, but I did go in and do that, and then I started rearranging the kind of mini vineyard area. I used some of the trellis to kind of slightly border it. I didn't want it to be a full kind of bordered area. I wanted it to look kind of more rustic, kind of similar to how Wally's garden we get with him is. And I went in and kind of decorated around it with some tools and some compost and things like that. My inspiration with the vineyard was to kind of go for a similar look to the one in Coral Island. If anyone plays Coral Island, there is a really beautiful vineyard in that game with a really nice kind of floral gazebo. Now obviously in the game we don't have that, but that was kind of my inspiration behind that. After that, I went in and I made a few bits of food and drinks, as well as got some grapes from my inventory and started arranging these on the table. I've kind of filled the table up with food, and then on the little Easter stand that you have craftable, I put in some grapes and some jars of applesauce and a little potion jar to kind of make it look like this is where someone would sell the stock that they're making as people are traveling through the jungle. That was kind of my thought behind it. I just love how this little Easter stall looks. I've actually just crafted it for the first time, as it is my first Easter event. And when I started doing this build, I was like, actually this would work really well. It's such a cute little stall. I can't wait to use it in other parts of my valley. But I have it in here for now to be kind of a little selling area. And then I went in and started kind of finishing around all the different foliage in the different areas. I wanted it to be kind of filled up and covered over, but also not block these kind of core areas. Now to finish up the build, I did go in and add a bunch of melted candles dotted around the bushes and trees. I like to do this a lot. If you watch any of my builds, you're not surprised by this at all, but I did want this area to feel very whimsical and kind of grown over and foresty, so melted candles worked really well in here to just dot about and bring in a little bit more light and kind of finish off the look. So this is the final build. I will walk you up from the entrance of the jungle. So this will be the first thing you see when you come in the jungle. Obviously we have the really cute archway and just a little car on the left, and then a fountain to kind of welcome you in. On the left we have our little mini vineyard. I love how this looks. I feel like it kind of worked well with the trellis. I wish we did have some sort of floral gazebo to kind of put these under, but I just think they look so cute in here. It just worked really well in this section. As we follow it around, we obviously have the bridge to the other side of the jungle, which you can see is not decorated at all. But we do have our little Easter stall. This is such a cute stall that we can craft at the moment, and I place some kind of items they might sell on this stall to travellers. As we head down the little mini rock pathway, we just have some cute little eclectic items dotted about, like a birdhouse and a water pump, as well as some of the craftable plant pots leading you to the rock spot. As we head back around, you can see the pathway is very overgrown and very covered over as it leads to the main house, which just has a really cute yellow bike and some flowers outside. And on the right we have our little dining table. I love this. I think it's so cute with the little teacups and the kind of cakes and sweet treats on there. I think it's just a very cozy little spot. And then we have our second little rock spot area that we have the little pathway for. On the entrance out to the upper section of the jungle, we just have another archway and a little sign pointing you in the direction, and some more decorations. Here are some shots of the final build. I absolutely love how this turned out. I've been waiting for a long time to decorate my house in Eternity Isle, and I just haven't got around to it, and I'm very happy that I have actually done so. I kind of love how this is just a very natural kind of area. It just works really well for my home. It's easy to access. It's right at the edge of the jungle, which means I can kind of get through to the different biomes pretty easily in here, and I really love how it looks and kind of all been divided. So that is it for the build. Let me know down below what you guys think. If there's anything you think I should change or add in, I'm more than happy to hear your suggestions. I am happy with how it turned out, so it definitely will be staying like this for a very long time, and I'm glad I've done this little section of the jungle now, and I have some more of the jungle to go. So if there's anything in particular you want to see in the jungle, do let me know down below. Make sure you like and subscribe. Thank you so much for all the support on the channel recently. We are so close to 600 subscribers already, which is crazy. We hit 500 like 4 or 5 days ago, so that is just crazy, but I appreciate it so much. Make sure you kind of stick about and let me know what you think. Have a lovely week, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.